Hello everyone, my name is Adam Smith from Rolling Solo, and in this video we're going to focus on attack, or attack dice, within Too Many Bones Undertow. So first off, an attack is the act of rolling attack dice, or die, to damage your target. Rolling skills is not considered an attack even if the skills do damage. So for instance, skill dice come from this area of the neoprene mat for your character. If these happen to do damage, that's what they do, but that's not considered an attack. Whereas if you choose to roll your attack dice, you are making an attack, and those can also result in damage. So in either case, damage is being done. One's just considered an attack and one isn't. Your attack stat is the number of attack dice you have available to roll each turn. And these dice are not exhausted. So right now Duster has a default of 2, so I have the availability to use up to 2 attack dice in an attack. I can choose if I'd like to use 0, I could choose to use 1, but every single time I choose a die to use up to that cap of 2 currently, then I have to ensure that I'm underneath my dexterity limit, as dexterity controls how many dice you can roll in total. So as of right now, I have the freedom to roll both attack dice if I want, because every attack die costs 1 dex. So rolling both of these on an attack would still give me the availability to add in 1 more additional die, which could be defense, for instance, or potentially a stat die from my skill tree down here. Now, an attack training attempt requires you to roll your current attack, which is your starting stat plus a stat die combined. And what they mean by that is your attack here has a default stat, so mine is 2. If you happen to have a stat die in next to the attack, you'd add that together, and you're rolling that many attack dice and hoping not to see any bones. If you see no bones, that means you successfully succeeded in your training attempt. If you see a bone, even 1, you have failed the attack training. And if that happens, you are forced to pick something else to train from. You are not allowed to retry using that particular training point for an attack train. So in this case, I would be rolling, as I have only 2 and 0 for my stat die, 2 dice. I would go ahead and roll trying to train, and as you can see here, I didn't roll any bones. So it's considered a successful training of the attack stat. And because of that, I now get to put that stat die in play for +1. Now going forward, I have the availability to use up to 3 attack dice in an attack action, which is still underneath my dexterity limit of 3, which is great. But in the future, if I choose to train, now the odds have increased that I'm potentially going to roll a bone. So that you go on with this as you go through the game and see whether or not you succeed. In cases like this where you fail, as I mentioned earlier, because I got a bone, you would have to choose to spend that training point in some other area, whether it be the skills area or other stats within your stat area. So attack dice, in general, when you're talking about actually using them in an attack, have to have a target before they're rolled. You can't roll your dice in advance and say you're making an attack without actually specifying a target, and there can only be 1 target that you're targeting. Each rolled attack die has a damage value on the die. So in this particular case, we have a 1. There's sides with bones, of course, for misses, as well as 2s. And of course, once you roll those in combination together, you're going to total up the number of swords you've got and their values together to get your total amount of damage. And it's considered a successful attack if at least 1 damage is rolled. If any damage is done to your target through use of attack dice, it is considered also a hit. And each rolled bone, so if you roll a bone like this, you can place this in your backup plan, and it does not reduce the number of attack dice available to you in future turns. And so these bones would then go into this backup plan and starts from far left to right. We'll be talking more about the backup plan in other videos.